open flame, it will burn. We don't like fires, not in the house, and it could burn out of control. The type of paint can I use, I keep the lid nearby in case it does catch on fire. I will be able to put the lid on top of it, deprive it of oxygen, and put the fire out, carry it outside, ruin the pitch by getting it wet. But that's okay. How much does the pitch cost? Well, as I said earlier, it's about $15.50 per kilogram when I buy it from Tom Moulton at Got Grit. He has a $10 charge or $9.95 charge for shipping and handling. He ships it U.S. Postal Mail from Florida. It comes in a day or two. And I'm real happy with his service and with what he's done for me. Right now, we're just waiting for the pitch to melt. And somewhat like watching a pot boil, it can take a while, particularly on a low heat. So what we're going to do is we're going to turn off the tape now for a few minutes. Well, before we do that, I'll just discuss again, we're using Google's pitch. There's another type of pitch called Aculap, and that's a scientifically formulated type of pitch. Google's is a very refined pine tar product. It's a natural product. I'm personally not one that's real big on homeopathic type remedies, and I really don't believe in using things that are too terribly natural. Sometimes they work. For some reason, when I get a sunburn, if I put aloe on it, it cures the sunburn pretty quickly. But generally speaking, I try to stay away from home remedies. Google's is somewhat like a home remedy in some respects, in that it's a pitch that is made of all natural pine product. But that being said, it seems to work. It's a standard in the industry. I haven't tried Aculap yet. Elizabeth's Mirror may be the first one we'll do with Aculap. They sell it in very odd quantities, 0.73 pounds. Doesn't really convert to metric either, and I don't know why they do that. That's one of the many dark mysteries of the optics profession. But it is something that they do, so we are aware of it. What I'm going to do is, the last time I poured a pitch lap using this particular form of mat, what we do is we put the mirror down face up. We put the mat on top of it, and then we pour the pitch into it after putting lap release on top of the pattern. What happened last time I did that was that the mold itself became stuck to the face of the mirror, and I had to go through some machinations to get it off. I had covered the mirror in that instance, an 8-inch mirror, with aluminum foil. Not aluminum foil, excuse me, saran wrap. This time I've got some good old-fashioned wax paper, and I've also got some cerium oxide. And what I'm going to try is I'm going to put the cerium oxide over the mirror, then I'm going to put the wax paper on top of it, then I'm going to put the mold on top of that. I will then put the lap release on top of the mold, and I will then pour the pitch into the mold. Then I'm going to take the tool and set the tool on top and let the whole thing set. The reason for doing it on top of the mirror is so that the lap originally takes somewhat of the shape of the mirror. It's not going to be perfect, but that's what hot pressing is for. When we hot press, we use another device to hot press, and that helps us get micro facets in the pitch. And that helps to facilitate the flow of cerium oxide and the pitch. We use wetting tool, which I bought from Michaels. And I bought this for about $4. You really can't see it well, but it's Wila Always Value tool, wrap and tie, something that's used to wrap wedding gifts. Used a lot. It's very thin, flimsy, sheer type of a fabric. It's a ribbon. This is 36 inches by 54 inches. The day I make a 54-inch telescope, or anything over a 36-inch telescope, I'm sure I'll have some other way to microfacet on the lap, and I'm sure the lap won't be full-sized in any event. So for right now, we're going to just turn off for a few minutes, let the pitch melt, and we'll be back once it's melted. Well, it's been about 20 minutes now. The pitch is melting well, and we're going to start to prepare the mirror to accept the tool. So the first thing I'm going to do is I've mixed up some serious oxide to accept the pitch lamp so that they don't stick. And I've picked up a brush. First thing I intend to do is to squirt some cerium oxide onto the mirror blank. And I'm just going to take some, this has been mixed, it's a pretty thick slurry, and I'm just going to put it on here. I'm not too terribly concerned about much of anything while I'm doing this. It's going to stay here. And let me see if I can get a little brush here. I have a very cheap brush that I bought from our local hardware store. I'm just going to brush the cerium oxide on the mirror real thick, real thick. You know, when you paint, you're supposed to paint some, gentle little coats, and when you use abrasives, less is more. But when you're doing what we're doing here, really doesn't hurt anything to put the cerium oxide on just real thick. You're using it just as a lubricant, and the more the merrier. Now I'm going to take my wax paper. Pitch is melting. It's not quite there yet, but it's really getting there pretty quick. And you remember wax paper. Well, some of you may not. Wax paper was used real heavily to wrap sandwiches and meats and things like that before the real invention of Saran Wrap and then the related plastic products that have come out since the 70s. But before about the 70s, wax paper was really what it was all about. Now, things are a little bit different. We really don't see much wax paper. We see a whole lot of Saran Wrap. But for this particular application, I want to use wax paper. And this is my video, as I've said before. So if you have any comments about it, send me an email. F.O'Reilly, F-O-R-E-I-L-L-Y, @bestweb.net. I'd love to hear what you have to say. Opinions are like noses. Everyone has one. Okay. Take a look at the pitch. Let's see how that's coming along. Oh boy, it's just about there. We're really moving. We're making good progress with our pitch right now. So the next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to take this very expensive bottle of lap release, shake it up. I really don't know what this stuff is. I've never used it before. I have a sneaking suspicion it's something to, there we go, to lubricate the mat. I'm going to apply it also fairly liberally. Smells sort of like a cologne, I guess. I want to get the whole lap. Poor Elizabeth, I think I'm asphyxiating my beloved daughter. The pitch is almost melted. For those of you that have read The Inferno by Dante Alighieri, written in Florence in, I guess, the mid-1300s, take a look at the melting pitch, you'll begin to understand what he was talking about. And that's where the grafters and the politicians were sent, in rivers of boiling pitch. Now, taking a look at it, it looks like it's pretty well all melted.
You might want to reset it.
I don't see any that it's not. Okay. I hope it all is.